Hey guys, welcome to another week here with the intermediate class, and today I'm going to show you guys a Darce Choke from the top turtle position. Again, the Darce Choke is one of my favorite and perhaps a signature move of mine, and when I was a blue belt or even further back, I used to do this a lot. One example is London Open one year, I don't remember what year, but I had 18 fights that weekend in the gi open, no gi open divisions, and of course I had 8 fights where I finished with a Darce, so that can maybe tell you how much I love this position. Okay, so it's quite a delicate kind of situation where I think a lot of people use a lot of force, where maybe perhaps it's more about the angle and more about adjustment, but we'll get to that later on. So starting with the head and arm position that we've been doing now in the beginner's course as well. So just so you guys understand the difference between a Darce choke and an anaconda choke, right? So what a Darce choke is when I go behind his armpit and I lock it beside his neck here, okay? An anaconda choke is when I go down by his neck and lock it beside his armpit, okay? So those are the differences. Of course, for Teta, he calls it always an arm triangle, no matter what it is, right? So going for the Darce choke, I'm really lucky because I have really long arms, so that means I can always throw my arm really far here, and all I need to do is just get my arm over his head, push it maybe a little bit down, and then I can lock it here, okay? But I'm gonna give you guys another setup here that, just move it a little bit to the side so you guys can see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw myself so that I can really stretch this arm through here, okay? So to do that, I'm going to have to fall a little bit on my side here, okay? But a big difference is falling on your side where you have no control and he can come up on top. And a different thing is when you're tight to his shoulder here, and when you're falling, you're always tight to him, okay? So now, watch how far my arm got through, and it's easy for me to lock it. Okay, so now if he tries to turn anywhere, I can now just scissor my legs and come up on my knees here. Okay, still having my arms locked, I can now set up the choke. So one more time, watch how my arm is already through here. Okay, but because I can't reach or I can't lock it on my bicep yet, so now I'm just gonna move myself a little bit down, push my hips to the floor here, and stretch my arm further, and then I can lock it, okay? Scissor my legs and come back on my knees here, okay? So on this side now, we're gonna sweep him down to the floor so I can finish the choke, okay? So I have locked it all the way through, and I have the choke here on this side. So watch how I've isolated his arm on the same side here. So now I'm gonna stretch this leg out, and I'm gonna block this knee here, okay? So by doing this, he can't widen his base as I'm tilting him over to this side here, okay? So now I'm just gonna make him fall over to this side, nice and easy, okay? Go a little bit further away from the camera. So I have the choke. Whether you have long arms or you just do the same thing I just did, you can now put your leg out here, okay? So now I'm gonna throw him over, boom, and here we are, okay? A couple of details here on the other side so you guys can see. Boom. Okay, so I got him down. And what I wanna do here is I wanna lock his leg to me, okay? I don't want his leg to go away like this. Reason being, just stay there. Whoop. I have the head and arm control here, right? And watch how I want to compress the space here on his neck, because I want the choke, right? And to do that, the more I get his lower body in, the more he's gonna be like this, okay? By letting him go, he can stretch out and therefore create more space. Be careful with the wall, man. Therefore create more space, and there he can start breathing again, right? So like a guillotine, for example, when I have the head, I want to get close to his lower body so I can lock him and prevent him from going away, okay? It's the same thing here. I want to compress, and I want him looking down towards his legs. So, one more time here. Boom. So here I got the head and arm locked. So now, sweep him to the side. I trapped his leg here, okay? Now the last detail is that I'm gonna pull my elbow to the floor here. And this is perhaps a more delicate piece of information here, where I'm not just squeezing. Of course, the squeeze is always a little bit important, but if you can sit up here, Christian, please. Let's say I have the Darce Choke here, okay? So you have the pressure on the side of his neck, but what you want to pull it in the front here, okay? And you want to make sure there's pressure on both sides of the neck here, okay? So his shoulder here, his shoulder connected to your chest pretty much, is kind of pushing in towards this side, and your underarm here is pushing to the other side here, okay? What happens if you don't turn a little bit is that you're gonna have more pressure on the side, maybe it becomes more of a crank, and so it's kind of like a collar choke. You're holding here, you're pulling, but it's not really a choke, it just hurts a little bit, but as soon as you get it in front here, then suddenly it's much, much more of a choke, and then all you need is that pressure on the other side as well. Same thing goes for this. You want to make sure that once you have this grip here, and you already got down and you're ready to go for the submission, right? You want to bring this elbow to the floor here, down. So you're really putting that pressure in front of his neck here. So one more time on this side. Boom. Here, I locked it, right? Put my leg out to the side. I sweeped him and I catch his leg, okay? So now I'm gonna bring my elbow down to the floor to finish. So again, a little piece of information about the squeeze. It's not about squeezing as hard as you can for a short period of time. It's more about squeezing slowly, making it worse and worse over time. So you want to extend this time here, right? So you want to really like make him feel the choke closing in slowly, okay? This is a common mistake by a lot of beginners, is that you're like, let go, try again, right? But again, what I'm trying to tell you guys to do is slowly, and don't use all your power, just slowly squeeze it in, okay? This is gonna help you a lot with other chokes as well. And as always, hope you guys liked it. Please like and subscribe. Hey guys, welcome to the intermediate class this week. And this week we're gonna go through the Darce Choke from the turtle top position here. And this is one of the attacks that I love and I used to do quite a lot in the blue belt, and even as a white belt or as a collared children's belt, I guess. Whatever, the orange, green, whatever. I never had the green, why I'm saying that. So the point is, as a blue belt, I used to do this quite a lot. Like I had 18 fights in a weekend, and 8 of them I would finish with a Darce Choke. And as you understand, this was a huge part of my game. So definitely one of my moves that I love to do. And of course, this is one of the things I like to teach on to my students as well. So it's quite simple. Nah. So the Darce Choke, right? Starting with the head and arm control like we did before. And what I'm looking to do here, there's a little bit difference between the Anaconda Choke and the Darce Choke, for those of you who don't know, right? So when I have the head and arm, right? If I'm locking it on the armpit side, it's an Anaconda Choke, right? If I'm doing it on the Darce Choke, right? I want to be locking it on the neck side here, okay? So close to his neck. If you ask Teta, it's all just arm triangles. So, but anyways, let's go a little bit back here so they can see better. And what I want to do here is I want to lock my hand like a rear naked choke beside his neck here, okay? So this is the Darce Choke kind of setup, right? It's not always going to be super easy depending on his arm placement and how it is, right? But we're going to go through a little bit of that. So here, I'm on top of him, okay? And I have really long arms, so I can lock it quite easily from here, okay? Well, let's say if you have a little bit of short arms, right? So what you can do, you can always like push his head down and look for the lock from here. But I'm going to show you an even more fancy kind of addition here. So what you're going to do, you're going to drop down. You're going to throw your arm as far in as possible, okay? Important part here, I don't want to fall so that he can get to the top position, right? So I want to be tight. So I'm gonna throw myself in like this. So now if he tries to come to the top position, I'm still locked here, tied to him, okay? So watch how my legs are like this now. Now I have to scissor my legs so I can come back on my knees again, okay? So I threw myself over here, locked my arms, and now I'm on the top position again, okay? So his head is tied to his shoulder, everything is cramped up, but I still don't have the power to finish. But here comes a different part, right? So doing the same setup here, I threw myself to the side, I locked it, and then came up to the top here, okay? So now, I'm gonna throw my leg out on the same side as I have his arm here, okay? So the thing here now is I want to prevent him from bringing this knee further out, okay? So I want to sweep him over to this side here, okay? So to do that, I'm just gonna kind of like tilt him over my leg, like here, okay? And now, having this arm tight here, I'm still bringing this other hand up towards his shoulder blade, okay? So this is a really nice position, and we're just gonna go through a little bit of the legs here. So, this side. Boom. So I got the Darce Choke here. I threw my leg out, and I swept him to the side here, okay? So what I wanna do here with my leg is I wanna bring his leg to me, okay? And I wanna lock it, okay? So the thing about this is I create a little bit of a cramped up situation for his neck to really choke him, okay? So when I can hold him like this, this is when I'm gonna get a really nice and tight choke. As soon as his legs go backwards, watch how so much space opened up underneath his neck here, okay? So a little bit like the guillotine as well, I wanna get close to his legs here, okay? So the Darce Choke, similar kind of choke as well, I want to be close to his legs. I want to prevent him from walking away from me, okay? So I set it up whether you have long enough arms to just lock like this or you throw yourself, right? So I got the lock. Now I'm going to throw my leg to the side here and catch him over here, okay? So now pulling his leg to me and making sure he can't escape, I'm now going to do a little bit of a detail here. I'm going to pull my elbow to the floor to finish. And the trick here is not necessarily squeezing as much, but it's the rotating part, okay? It's kind of like explaining like a collar choke or different kind of chokes where you have the pressure here, but you want to bring it in front of their neck like this, okay? So the same thing with the Darce here. Just stand up here. So here, I have the pressure on the side, but I want to pull it like this. Of course, I don't want to lose this grip on my bicep, but I want to pull it so that it stays tight, okay? So now I have pressure on this side, but I also have pressure on his shoulder pushing into his neck on the other side, okay? So doing it from the beginning here, boom. I got tight in here. It's a little bit of patience, right? So you have to hold it for a while. I see a lot of beginners, they squeeze tight for 2-3 seconds and they expect it's gonna hold, like make people tap straight away. But the thing about the choke is you have to hold it, right? You have to let it slide in. And what I like to do is kind of tell people to just squeeze slow and steady. So you don't want to use all your power straight away. You want to go slow into the choke, okay? So this is gonna help you out quite a lot with chokes in general. Let's do it one more time just from a different angle here. You guys can see. Boom. So I got the Darce Choke here, I locked it up. Now throwing my leg to the side here, I'm gonna make it fall, okay? So here, watch my elbow that's up towards the ceiling. I'm gonna pull it down here, so I'm gonna bring it down to the floor. This is what's gonna get me kind of like a choke here, okay? So I really wanna make sure this is happening, okay? Of course, I'm not losing the pressure of my chest. My chest is always right behind his back here. So if you feel like his head is slipping out, then probably you should be a lot tighter, okay? Of course, you'll have to experiment a little bit depending on your body size and their body size. Sometimes the choke is like really tight on, especially people with huge delts or huge shoulders. So as soon as you do this, they're like, ah, shit, I can't breathe. So yeah, you have to see with your partner. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Boys, take care.